Von Mason is cooking shit up.
What is going on? Welcome to the Heatwave Spotlight. I am your host, Jason Dowdy. Today we have a pretty dope guest. You've all heard his beats. And when you find out what he's been making these beats on, you're going to be embarrassed and ashamed of yourself because he creates magic from an Android tablet. And we'll get into all of that in a little bit. He's currently incarcerated. So he's not going to show his face during this interview. So he's got kind of a thing over his face, just so you know, because they're not allowed to be, while you're incarcerated, you're not necessarily allowed to be online and streaming and all that kind of stuff. So we definitely don't want to get this person in trouble because he is an amazing producer. So let's just, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring him on. Felonyus Monk, welcome to the Spotlight.
What's up, my brother?
What's happening?
Man, I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed.
I'm excited. I've listened to the beats you sent in. I've heard you in the Tournament of Fire, all that. Other beat shows that have been going around. Every time your stuff plays, I'm like really impressed. So I'm really grateful that I get an opportunity to pick your brain about music production. And you could probably drop some gems on FL Studio or FL Mobile, because that's the platform you're using right now, right?
Yeah, no doubt, man. And it's a privilege to be here, man. I'm grateful. It's definitely a blessing just to be able and to be a part of this community. I'm grateful, man. I appreciate you having me on, most definitely.
All right, awesome. Let me bring up the chat overlay and see what everybody's saying. What's up? EVM's in the house. Brainiac. Facebook user. I have to figure out who that is. Looking. All right. So some names I'm not able to see, so I apologize for that. If I don't call you out by name, it's just because for some reason it says Facebook user in here. Who else we got? We got Pat Carney, Fiction. What's up, Fiction? All right, let me close this. And then all right, cool, cool, cool. All right, so let's start with, the basic questions. Where are you from? Where are you living? Well, yeah, where are you living?
All right, so uh, I've been in Florida for a while, but I'm actually from New Jersey, and that's pretty much what everybody calls me around here. That somebody gave me the name Jersey, and it stuck.
Mhm.
I can't get away from it. But actually, I've been in Florida for longer than we lived in New Jersey.
I feel like
Um,
there's a lot of people in Heatwave from Jersey.
yeah,
Yeah,
we got a lot of talent in Jersey.
I hear you. All right, is any other producers that you're tight with that we might have heard of or no?
I mean, I got to shout out to the whole tri-state gang. Those are my people. Um, we got S Dot. You got
Hmm.
Keto the champion. All my brothers
Yep.
in tri-state, man. I'm very grateful to be a part of that family. We do our thing on Who Want That Smoke with Flip and Choice and those guys. It's definitely a
Yeah,
blessing. Definitely a
Tri-State.
blessing.
Yeah, you just named two of the dopest producers I know. So, yeah.
Yeah, they're masters. They're masters. We got
I,
Gold in there, Gold Rush. We got, it's a lot of talented people on there. We're constantly battling with the Swankies, the Swank mobs. They're formidable opponents. Um, I'm
who's
sharing
in
this live too.
the Swank Mob?
You got Zilla Man, Face
Okay.
Eastwood, and my brother Tim Reed, but that's debatable. They debate whether he's a official Swanky or not. But good people, man. Good people, and it's healthy competition.
All right. Awesome. So what got you into music?
Um, I grew up in a family of musicians and artists. And one of my earliest memories, uh, so in New Jersey, in our neighborhood, the bus stop was right across the street from my house, and that was where a lot of the kids would hang out. And my mom likes to tell this story that when I was little, in New Jersey, you got the stoop, you got the few steps in front of the door, and then you got the street. And they would hang out right there in the street and bring out the cardboard and the boom box, and they would be actually breakdancing right in the street in front of our house. And my mom
Mhm.
says I was too big to even open the door, but I'd stand there holding up, my hand on the door handle, and I'd just be bopping back and forth watching the guys breakdancing. And from an early age, man, not just hip hop, but just music in general was always like that was my escape. That was my girl. That was my everything. Um, music will always be my first love, most definitely.
They always say like you don't choose music, it chooses you, right?
I love that. That's
Yeah.
a fact.
Yes, sir. Well, what's you're a little kid, you're watching the breakdancing and all of that. Was hip hop always your first love? Is that what you went into right off the bat?
Um, I grew up in a household where they just love music. So my dad would always play music when we were eating dinner. Um, Shout out to my mom and dad, man. I didn't appreciate them like I should have, most definitely. But uh, when I look back, I really was the only kid in my neighborhood who had both of his parents there, and I'm grateful for them. But they raised me around all kinds of music. My dad was so cool. He would play Stevie Wonder and Paul Winter, all type of stuff while we're eating dinner. And
Mhm.
they're so cool, man. They brought me to Woodstock '94. Me and my brother. I was actually 10 years old at Woodstock '94 with my mom and dad. That's how cool they were. And music was just always a part of my life. Um, as far as just hip hop, I can't really say that. I really fell in love. I really fell in love with hip hop around like 13 years old. Um, but it was always there. But I've always enjoyed jazz. A lot of rock music. I actually play the drums before I was making beats. I was just a drummer. And then
Hmm.
I made a decision at one point in time. I don't want to just be the drummer. I want to be the whole band. So I want to be a producer. And um, man, music, I can't say really there's any genre of music that I would write off. It's just that creative expression, man, with those 12 notes and the
Yeah.
magic, the magic that people can make happen.
Who's your biggest influences?
Uh, I would say from a young age, if I had to pick two, I would pick RZA and Trent Reznor. And I
Oh,
know those are kind of, wouldn't necessarily always be put together, but those two guys, they influenced me a lot. I some of my first beats I was making on just a karaoke machine. You remember those decks with the one big speaker and the microphone hanging off the side, and that
hmm,
was that was basically my first workstation. Um, I would use that mic, and I'd have two tapes. I started off. My dad actually is a musician. He's got music he's published out there, and he gave me my first blank cassette tape that I started recording on. But I realized if I wanted to add tracks, I would have to dub it to another tape. And I actually went
hmm.
and stole my big brother's Michael Jackson tape, and I remember how heartbroken he was that it went missing too, and I felt bad. But it wasn't until years later that I confessed to him. But what I would do is I would record on one tape, just my hi hat or something as a metronome, and I would swap the tapes out. And you remember it had the little space on top, and you'd have to put a piece of tape over it to get it to record and everything.
Yep.
And we're really showing our age. A lot of people ain't gonna be able to relate to that. The missions we had to go to, but I'd swap it out, and while I was dubbing that tape to the other one, then I'd add in, my kick and my snare. Then I'd pick up, my dad's guitar or something, and I'd just go to plunking some strings, and I would try to imitate some of the stuff like I could imagine RZA doing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it just that's always been my escape. That's always been my escape, music, and come a long way. Definitely being able to work on one of
Yeah.
these in your hand from the old karaoke machine. But man, it's a blessing, bro. I'm grateful.
That's crazy. I'm a was a I'm a singer, so like I used to do the same thing, but
Yeah,
I get two boom boxes and try to record those Boys to Men harmonies.
yeah.
Like sing one part and then play it and sing along with it, and then like by the end it just sounds like a big hiss. Yeah, it's like
That's that noise floor come up on you quick too, man. I didn't know back then what it was, but yeah, it's funny because there was a DJ down the street. I can't leave this out on my travels with music. DJ Feedback. His first name is actually Sir, and he's a big brother to a good friend of mine. And my brother Zach and I got an older brother Zach. We uh we were forming a band, and we were trying to do something like a Rage Against the Machine type of thing, but more hip hop and a little more hardcore-ish. Jersey's got a big hardcore scene. Um and shout out to what is it? E Town Concrete and all of them back in the day. So Feedback, we performed with him, and he was kind of like our Zach De La Roca, right? And he told me one day, he said, "Man, you don't play drums like a rock drummer." And he brought me down. He had a little studio in the basement of his house, and he basically introduced me to the MPC. And this is what I started trying to imitate with the karaoke machine, before I had any equipment. But he introduced me to the concept of sampling and chopping something up and having it on those pads, and being able to
mhm.
build on it. Really just I fell in love, man. Like, that was a life changing moment right there. And he left me downstairs in that basement for a few hours, and when he came back, I was just locked in. I never wanted to leave, but it wasn't long. It's a blessing, man. Shout out to Sir DJ Feedback, because it wasn't long before I was making those little beat tapes on my karaoke machine, and the kids around the neighborhood were saying, the disciple has surpassed the master, and it was a blessing, man. It was a blessing just to be able to grow and express like that, put things together. Um, there's
Yeah,
a and just talking about different styles of music. I love all styles of music, but there's something about that pocket in hip hop of kind of like, it's almost like restricting yourself to focus on just a few elements, um that, and I'm not saying, I don't want to speak in general for everybody who's making hip hop, but there's a quote somebody told Quincy Jones, something to the effect of, with less you can do more.
hmm,
And just focusing, sitting down and focusing with just those elements, the drums and the bass and the sample, and looping it up like a lot of people do on that MPC, you know,
hmm.
the amazing things that you can do, when you limit that palette, when you just focus on just a few of those elements and you start to put them together in all these different ways.
Yeah,
And I fell in love with that, man. I fell in love with it to this day. That's been my escape, even in here, you know.
yeah. It's funny you say that. Less is more is something we've been saying a lot lately. I've even been saying it at like my house, like spend, like let's keep more of our money and spend less, and let's lose weight, and
No
like
doubt.
all that kind of stuff, right?
No doubt.
But in the hotspot, like we say that all the time. Yeah, like if you can just make a few elements and then like put that right combination in the right way, it's magic. You know.
Most definitely, man. And I gotta say, like, on my tablet, uh I got 28 gigs, and
Make them
you
count.
know yeah, gotta make them count. and
Yeah.
and I've lost them several times. It's a tragedy. I know pretty much every artist, every producer can relate to losing a lot of content at some point, but that
Hmm.
has been a big part of my growth in life, has been lost. And just recently, man, I put together this whole mixtape. I had 22 songs, all just Nas and Jay-Z songs, and I was building songs, putting both of them together,
Hmm.
and recreating songs that they did. I put a lot of work in it, and I slipped. I didn't have it backed up, and we went through a little craziness. Uh, an officer actually planted a bullet on somebody,
Mm.
and it was definitely intentional, and in order to get the type of attention that came as a result of that. And I didn't have that mixtape backed up. I was very excited to upload that thing to YouTube. Obviously I don't have the rights to all of it, but there's about 5 or 6 of the tracks that I got left. And maybe at some point I'll get back to it. But those
Mm.
losses, man, with the limited resources and taking
Mhm.
those losses, um, you got to look at it like, I have a saying that I make the beats and the beats don't make me, and that kind of
Right.
helps me to deal with that, because it's happened several times. I'm grateful. For 15 years, I was not able to make beats at all, and during that
Yeah.
time, I got into a lot of other things. I got into writing. I've written books. I posted the link, or I sent the link to you if you want to check it out. I
Mhm.
wrote a book about Florida prisons. You can get that on Amazon for 16.99,
Yep.
and got a couple 5-star reviews on there. But I got into a lot of other things. When I couldn't make music, I got into public speaking, I got into writing, I got into mentoring and teaching. A lot of people have a vision of what people in prison are doing, that's based on Hollywood. It's based on
Mm-hmm.
this dramatic, um, just destructive whole lifestyle and everything. And you do have those elements, most definitely. I've been doing this for 20 years. You do have those elements, but also you have a lot of opportunities and you have people taking advantage of the time to do better things. And during the time that I couldn't make music, I really got into building in other ways. It was like I had this creative energy that I couldn't use making music anymore. And I got into expressing it through writing, teaching, facilitating, things like that, man. And it's a
Yeah.
blessing to be back at it because now I have a whole arsenal of tools, things, in order to have an impact on people. That's
Yeah.
definitely a blessing.
I can only imagine what it's like when you get a beat idea and you can't put it down. Like
Oh
that's like
man.
that's ultimate torture right there. I can't even imagine what
Yeah,
that's like.
man.
Yeah.
Oh man. It's
So
rough.
so big ups to you for like pushing through that, finding other outlets, finding other ways to be creative and all that. So,
I'm grateful. I'm grateful,
yeah.
bro.
I posted the link to your book in the chat and I put a star on it. I think that means it'll pin it. I haven't used the pin feature in this restream platform before, but if
All right,
anybody's looking for
cool.
that book, it's there. Yep. Let's play a song.
Let's
I
go.
got 3 from you. They all had different titles, or they all were kind of titled the same, so I put my own titles to them so you could
All
tell
right.
which ones they were.
Okay.
So
Probably
there
when I
was one that had
forwarded them, they got renamed or something.
yeah, I think that's what happened. So there's one that has a rapper on it. There was
Okay.
one that had Reading Rainbow, and then the other one was kind of a smooth city joint. Which one do you want
Okay.
to play first?
Um, let's play that smooth city joint, you said. That sounds like
All right.
run through the city. I was on my weekend vibe on that.
All right. Cool. Let me share the tab real quick. Let me find it. City. Okay, here we go. Share tab audio. Here we go. Everybody in the chat, let me know if you can hear that all right.
my favorite part. Hmm.
Damn.
I think that's the longest song I've ever made too.
Yeah, I mean, it was 6 minutes, but it didn't seem like 6 minutes.
Yeah,
Flip banger. We are it was the interview show, and we are interviewing Felonious Monk this evening.
Flip,
So
that's my guy.
yeah, so you know what? I know you do a lot of beat battling.
Yeah,
What you know how like I don't know if you're in any Facebook groups like this or anything, but like they have those ones where people show their home studio and they got like like they got like the cockpit of an airplane and they got like 20 monitors and they got all this stuff going on.
yeah.
After you kick their ass in a beat battle, you should just like hold up your tablet and drop it.
uh, drop the tablet on him.
Yeah, I'd make that my profile pic. that
It's a
was
blessing,
that
man.
was dope. Yeah, I don't. What did you do to those vocals? Like the vocals in the middle, and you hopped
So,
in and you were like, "That's my favorite part." What you? How did you do that?
ah, man, oof. See, that track is called "Run the City," and it's out on Spotify and all platforms. So if anybody wants to listen to it, man. So a lot of the stuff that I'm creating, I use a lot of different sample packs and one shots, because Fruity Loops Mobile, I don't have the Omnisphere and a lot of the different contact and a lot of the stuff that like shout out to Manny Beats. We were talking a few weeks ago and he was asking me what VSTs do you use? And I was like, my brother, I've never even seen a VST in my life. Like VSTs, I don't think
Crazy,
existed when I was out. um,
crazy.
but I'm a big fan, man, of compression and reverb and delay. I'll be I'll be honest. Also, what I do a lot of times is I'm pitching stuff where I take the pitch up double, I take it down half, I go into the sixes in between, and I just listen for what sounds good and build up from there. Like we said earlier, less is more, man, and
Yeah,
I mean, I look at some of those studios some of these guys got, and I'm like, man, one of these days, you know. But uh, right now, just being able to concentrate with just a few different tools and really exercise those and see what I can make happen with those is a blessing, man. I'm very grateful. As I said, like 15 years I wasn't able to, so
For
it's a
everybody
blessing,
out
bro.
there that's planning to blow all your money this Black Friday, take a lesson from Felonious Monk. You don't need VSPs. You just need to be a musical genius, that's all.
Facts. It's a it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing, you know.
Yeah,
I can only imagine. Like, I try to get my brother on board. My brother plays bass. Uh, I've been telling him forever, man. Just run some scales for me, you know. Run up and down and hit that C major and hit these different scales, and I can chop it up, you
yeah.
know. Um, but I can only imagine, man. Once I get in one of those cockpits, you know, with all the equipment like you were talking about, man, I can only imagine. I'm probably gonna be lost for a while, to be honest, till I get used to it.
Yeah.
Cause you know this is all it's been for a while now. Um, but I'm grateful, bro. I'm definitely grateful. I know I say that a lot, but
Mhm.
I've learned to count my blessings, and I'm grateful. You know.
Let me know if this is an okay question to ask, but do you have an idea of when you're getting out?
So um, the thing about Florida, a lot of people don't know, is that Florida is the world leader in life without parole.
Mm,
And Florida actually has more life without parole sentences than California, um, Texas, and New York combined. That's how extreme it actually is. And
damn.
the thing is, in Florida, you don't have to kill somebody. You don't have to do much actually to get caught up. And when I was 20 years old, I made the dumbest decision of my life, and I went to a place and I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I almost died. And instead of me dying, a good friend of mine, he fired first. And rest in peace. You know, somebody else passed away that night. And the law in Florida, um, you don't have to plan on any of that happening. As a
Mm,
matter of fact, the only people who testified that the plan was not for anybody to get hurt. I wasn't supposed to even see anybody, and it didn't work out that way. So um, I went to trials, my first time being in trouble, and you know, I don't get into that story too much because um, I don't really dwell in a victim type of mindset. You
mhm.
know, hold on one second. Give me one second.
Sure. Yeah.
It's count time. Hold
Alright,
on.
so while oh, yeah, yeah. While he's doing that, we're gonna check out, another Felonious Monk beat, so let me go ahead and share the screen. This one is, it's got the Reading Rainbow sample in it, so let's check that out. Let me just find the, thing here real quick. Alright, let's go.
Hey, play a song. We need about a 5 minute intermission while they count.
Okay.
I can go twice as high. Take a look. It's in a book. A reading rainbow.
Your music tells stories.
I
That was like an epic
appreciate
journey
that.
right there.
I
From
appreciate
Reading
that,
Rainbow.
man.
Yeah, geez.
Right. So
That
I was just really showing off, man. That's that's
yeah.
those battle beats.
Oh, you got
Battle
to with a
somebody
battle
really
beat.
got to come with it. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and you got to be sneaky with them sometimes too, where it's not super aggressive. You know, some people just think all the battle beats
Mhm.
are about being aggressive, but um, I like creating the different elements. Like I said, man, different styles of music. I appreciate music, just the totality of, and I like to transition between like several different genres. When I'm working on something, and I remember ever
Mhm.
since I first started making beats, that Reading Rainbow little say one day I'm gonna make something out of that,
Yep.
and I was just sitting, I was getting ready for something. Somebody was talking trash about a battle and hyping something up, and I was like, oh, I got something for them. And man, it's a cheat code going back and
Hell
grabbing
yeah.
those theme songs and stuff. That one, it's got so many
Uh-huh.
different elements to it. It's got the boom bap and it's just the breakneck part. I like the little trap part at the end, really builds up in it. And
Mhm.
man, some of the things that I can do with this Fruity Loops mobile, I couldn't do with Pro Tools when I was out there. How technology has
Yeah.
increased is crazy. Some of the stuff that you can do today compared to you know what you could do back then is just ridiculous. And there's an old man, was an old Cuban guy. When I first got in trouble, he kind of mentored me. He was back. He had 2 life sentences. I remember I was going to the rec yard trying to do pull-ups. I couldn't even do a single pull-up. I'm a 20-year-old kid, and
Mhm.
I remember he took me kind of under his wing, and he was like, "Come with me to the law library." And I'm like, "Nah, my lawyer's got it under control." And he's like, "Man, everybody thinks that, but your lawyer's not
Mhm.
gonna do nothing for you." And he said, "Look at me. I'm back because I got myself back to court and this and that or whatever." So
Yeah.
one of the things that he gave me, one day I remember I was trying to draw. I used to draw a lot. Before I got into playing the drums, I was always drawing. I'm a creator, and I was trying to draw because I couldn't make music anymore. So I was trying to go back to this thing that I used to do when I was much younger, and I wasn't really getting it. I was struggling there, crinkling up the paper and throwing it out, getting frustrated. And one of the things he said to me was, the best way to get better at something once you've been good at it. And he told me, stop doing it for a while. When you've been good at something, when you take a break from doing that for a while, then when you come back to it, it's almost like the subconscious has worked out pieces, it's put pieces of the puzzle together. I don't know the whole
Mhm.
science behind it, but like I said, 15 years I wasn't able to make beats. And then when I came back to it, it's just like now, not only with the technology, but the stuff, that I can envision putting together is on such a different scale than it was back then. But
Mhm.
as far as your question about, if I know when I get out, um, when I went to trial, again, I don't really tell the story too much because I don't live like I'm a victim. I take responsibility for myself, my choices. I chose to be there. I wasn't planning on what happening, but it happened, and I take responsibility for it. And so I went to trial. My lawyer, he didn't call any witnesses. It's the old, woe is me type of story that I don't really tell too often. Um, but I went to trial. I got convicted, and they gave me life without parole. And my
Mhm.
friend, my friend, the actual gunman, he was smarter. He had been in trouble before, so he was more familiar with how all of this works. And he actually took a plea. And at this time, he actually goes home in like 6 years. Um,
Mm,
and I have a good lawyer. For one time, we finally we have a lawyer that has integrity, because we've had a few rough ones,
mm-hmm.
and she's trying to figure out a way to argue that,
Okay.
that I got this life without parole sentence, whereas this other guy, it's not like he helped the state to get rewarded or whatever, but he's got this release date. And there's actually a prosecutor over the case now who seems really cool. It's crazy to say that about a prosecutor, but she actually said that she believes that I should have less than what my friend got. But we got to find the proper way to do it. The longer you're in, the more procedures there are against you,
Yeah.
time limitations. The lawyers, they got a big business, and you got to find a way to figure out that Latin to get back into the court. So, God willing, I know my day is coming, and I can't tell you what year it is or when, but there's a lot of people advocating for me since I've been in here. I mean, I've rubbed shoulders with people that go to Mar-a-Lago with Trump, and um you know God bless him. He might be my bunkie one of these days. But um, I've met people that are on the board of directors with the governor, and I've achieved a lot of favor. I've had wardens tell me we're gonna get you out of here one day, stuff like that. Man, God is good, and
Mm-hmm.
I know sooner or later my day will come with all of that. But as far as having an actual date, that's not a reality right now.
Gotcha. Well, we're all
Yeah,
pulling for you. Everybody
I
here.
appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, man.
And the second you're out, if there's a GoFundMe to get you your cockpit and your monitors and your computer and your
No
VST,
doubt.
all that, well, I'll be the first
No
one to
doubt.
chip in.
No doubt. Everybody already. I got a big family and loved ones, man. I've never really been a slimy dude. Never really been shady.
Mhm.
So I have a lot of people that support me, and they already know. Uh, Anytime they ask me, you need some money or some canteen or whatever, they already know. Nah, I need these sample packs. That's what I need. I need these drum packs, man.
Well, and one way we could support you is buy the book. So, and I
No
did
doubt.
pin that to the thing. And
No
you have
doubt.
a clothing line and graphic design, and
Yeah,
you do a lot of other things, right?
no doubt, man. I'm been putting together a little spread shop. Um, if you guys want to check that out, there's a lot of stuff on there just for music lovers, for beat makers. There's a picture of somebody tapping out on the MPC. It says my love language, and you can pick all your own colors. Definitely recommend check out that link. They got high quality merchandise, and you can get yourself something real nice off of there too.
Awesome. Cool. And you get
Appreciate
something
that.
from that, right? Like you
Yeah,
all
no
right.
doubt,
Making sure it's not
no
all
doubt.
going to your lawyer.
Yeah, nah.
All right, cool. Well, I pinned that. I put the link in the chat. They're pinned to the top. They should be pinned to the top of the chat. I'm gonna check the Facebook chat and just see what it looks like to pin something. Where are the pins? I'm not
Mm,
sure how it works, but I tried to pin it. If anybody needs me to share that link again, I will. I'll also do a follow-up post with those two
cool,
links in there just to make sure everybody gets that.
cool.
All right. Cool. Let's see. What else? Um I guess let's go to your last track. We've this hour like it's been 48
Yeah,
minutes. This has just flown by. Let's
yeah.
get to your
Time
last
flies.
track and we'll do final thoughts. So last one we have is they got a rapper on this one.
All right, so let me give a little definition real quick. Uh some years ago I bumped into a guy. Before I could make beats in here, I got into playing the drums again. And we would put on shows on the yard, and I would kind of make beats with a band. I would orchestrate, I would tell them what to do. We had some very good musicians, and I met a couple of guys. There was a group called Papa and Pressure. Shout out to my guys there, Michael Perez, Papa. He's out now, and Pressure is on his way out. He's at the end of a 25-year bid. He's got about a year and a half left to do, and he's getting out. And he's got music, Pressure, Presha. He's got music out on YouTube from before he was locked up. And so we would basically make beats with the band for them. And we got tight over the years. And before Pressure left here, we were working on a few projects. So this track was the first track off of a project we were working on called The 5 Elements of Peace, which is all based around a book that I created since I've been in here. Actually, this book, if anybody's interested, we send them out for free. So if anybody's interested in learning about the 5 Elements of Peace, you can contact me, and I have somebody send you one of these for free. We were making them by hand. We got them printed professionally, and that's been such a blessing to be a part of. The first element of peace is purpose. And this track that I produced, we got Pressure on there, and we got a friend of his who's become a brother of mine, Phil Israel. Shout out to Phil. Family over everything. He's got music out there. We got tracks on Spotify, on every platform. But this track, Purpose, was the first one off of that album. Maybe one day we'll finish it, you know, when Pressure gets out, or we find a way to make it happen. But I definitely wanted to share this actual song with two of my brothers, two artists. Shout out to them. I hope you guys enjoy it.
All right. Well, I see like Brainiac and the Dark One, Serafina and EVM, they all want that book. So just DM you.
Yeah.
Aaron Island.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and play this track then. All right. Let me find it. Purpose. Let's go.
Yeah. This that pressure right here. And this the first element. Ain't nothing by accident. We do this shit on purpose.
This ain't no tale, on no timid shit, this is real. Explicitness, this is still. Imprisonment, this is guilt. Not the innocent, not the calm, but aggressive. Got me off, and my temperament got me counting my blessings without offering 10%. I'm so smart, quick with it. I started with the businesses with that honor, diligence. This ain't common coincidence. I was poor and indigent, but these bars, they was in the gym when they saw I was at my worst. Man, these bars didn't see my worth. I'm Persian, pick the version, the words to the virgin women. This verbiage I'm perking with. Fuck you, vermin. I'm purpose driven. Prefer that. Work the rhythm, superb, and the mercy in them blue dirt. Emerge from prison, true purge. I deserve to win it, win it. I serve a power that's higher. The assignment is not tomato. What the science says, you just follow. Simon says to compliant. Move supply, I'm a giant. Hell of than that defiant. Wanna up that iron, surviving the lion's den, nigga. How you serve and survive that 25 king. Courage, purpose, drive. How you dealt with that plight and lost the time, king. Courage, purpose, drive. How you fell and you not losing your mind, king. Courage, purpose, drive. How you dealt with them hurts, burdens, and lies, king. Courage, purpose, drive.
I got a purpose on the surface, living out my purpose. From the womb to the tomb, me and my brother surfing. God in the flesh, yeah, this less the movement working. From the womb to the tomb, I'm thankful for my purpose. Can't understand how people out here living like they worthless. When every person got a purpose, but they stand for nothing. When every moment is a gift, it's something you should cherish. Cause once it's gone, fuck the money, it ain't coming back. See my courage amazing and understatement. I'm just saying, got the heart of a live, blessed from the greatest. Franklin Saint of all hiatus, I'm destined to be the greatest. I'm just saying that my drive is impeccable, estimated. While I'm calculating figures, my nigga, they estimated. We just getting to the money, my nigga, that less the business. Every foreign whip I'm sitting in, nigga, that bitch be tinted. Just that relevance to relevant, nigga, that family business.
How you serve and survive that 25 king. Courage, purpose, drive. How you dealt with that plight and lost the time, king. Courage, purpose, drive. How you fell and you not losing your mind, king. Courage, purpose, drive. How you dealt with them hurts, burdens, and lies, king. Courage, purpose, drive.
FOE. We just getting
Courage,
started.
drive. Purpose, drive. Courage, purpose, drive.
Woo!
Yeah, man.
That beat is mean. Damn.
And if you listen to what my partner Pressure is saying, man, there's soul to it. You know, that's part of his testimony, his message. The man did 25 years.
Mm.
You know, and he's on the end of it now. He did it with courage, purpose, and drive. He's getting ready. That man is a beast on the business. He's got LLCs. Um, he's gonna get out there and take over, man.
That's
They got a group called Lester. I want to tell y'all to check that out. Lester is actually, made up of their names put together, and it's an acronym for Living Every Second to Earn Revenue. And I produce a lot of tracks for them. Phil is up in Chicago. Shout out to Phil Israel and Pressure, my dog, still Pressure. You catch him in the chat sometimes in the battle shows. He'll pop up every now and then, but where he's at, it's not as sweet as it is over here. So he can't always get online. But my brother's gonna be free soon. I know he's gonna get out there and take over, man.
awesome. Well, oh, one question. You mentioned, and I always send a form out to interview guests, and one thing that you mentioned was you got to do a show for like 2,000 prisoners. Was he
Yeah,
involved in that show, or was
yeah, he was actually.
okay?
He was actually. That was one of the first times we got to perform, and they had everybody out on the rec yard, and it was just packed. It was 2,000 guys out there. It was the whole compound,
That's dope.
and yeah, we tore it down, man. We tore it down. I played drums for a lot of different groups back then. We had rock groups, we had uh, rap, we had trap, hip hop, jazz, blues. I even played for a country group. Um, we were doing our thing. It was really cool. We had guys playing the trumpets and the tuba, keyboards, guitars, bass, vocalists, everything, man.
Awesome.
Definitely a blessing.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's cool. Um,
yeah.
I added in the description when I started the stream, it still said the guest from last week, so I switched it to you, and I also put the links to your book and your clothes shop, so
Cool,
your spread
man.
shop.
I
So
appreciate that.
yep. So
Appreciate that.
when the replay comes on, it'll have those links right there.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you, brother, very much.
Yeah, not a problem. I do want to mention before we leave, let me here. I always gotta like promote the shows, right? So we have the
Yep,
hotspot. Here, I got a little ticker I can turn on here. I got an email.
there it is.
There we go. All right. So every Friday night we have the hotspot with Pat Carney, aka Fiction, where you can
My
send.
my guy.
There you go. And he's a big Trent Reznor guy too. Like that's one of his big
Yeah,
influences. So
yeah.
apparently Trent does. Last time I talked to Fiction about it, like he does movie scoring now, and he's more into like that
So
stuff.
this is the cool thing. Both RZA and Trent Reznor have gone into that. I mean, Trent Reznor is doing it on another level with Atticus Ross.
Hmm.
I just watched that Ninja Turtles movie, the
Yeah,
the cartoon CGI one, and then I see this guy's name. I said, "Oh, my guy's snapping."
there you
But
go.
both RZA and Reznor, shout out to them, man. Movie scoring, and that's my dream as well, bro. I love making beats. I love music in general, but when you get into doing those movies and those films, you get to have that emotional impact on people in a different way.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
absolutely. But every Friday
Shout
night,
out.
yeah, every Friday night,
Yeah.
9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Central time. Send in your beat with no tags. MP3 is the preferred file type. If you send in a wave, it might fill up their inbox too much. So send it to that email that's on the screen, heatwavesubmissions@gmail.com. And then on Saturday night we have back to back. Oh,
Back to back.
I forgot to mention a hotspot. They'll vote on your beat, and like everybody will give it a score from 1 to 10, 10 being fire, 1 being trash, and then they'll
Back.
take the top beat of the night, put them in the tournament of fire, where you were just in the tournament of fire, so you know all about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then back to backs on Saturdays, so that's a vibe where you can play not only beats but songs. You can have tags. It's just a vibe session. Sometimes they'll have contests here and there, but most of the time it's just a good way to meet other musicians
Yeah.
and artists and
Shout out my man EVM and that guy. You know, I sit there and watch the reaction sometimes. That
yeah,
guy, that's my guy there, man. I got big love, big respect for that man there.
and Brainiac
Most
the
definitely.
Maniac. Yep.
And Brainiac the Maniac as well, man. Shout out them guys.
All right. So before we call this one last question that I forgot to ask.
All
Felonious
right.
Monk, where did your name come from?
So uh you know, a lot of artists and rappers and people, they take the names from gangsters and, you know, different notorious characters and tyrants and stuff like that. And there's a jazz musician, one of the greats, named Thelonious, TH, Thelonious Monk. But for me, you know, the felonious path, the path that I took in the past, it brought me to where I am now, which is a place of peace. And it's a place of building and inspiring people and having an impact. And that's the monk part. So
Right.
you put those two together, and that's what we got. Shout out to Thelonious Monk. Some of my earliest sample beats were taken from some of his music that my dad had laying around,
Hmm.
and you know, and that just stuck with me when I went to coming up with names because I've had several over the years, but you know, that's definitely one of my favorites. I had to spell it a little different. You got a comedian with Felonious Monk spelled the other way. You have some books out there. You got a little jazz group or something. Um, so it was actually my dad's idea to actually write Felony Us Monk.
Yeah.
But one of these days, and I get the felony off of me, I'll probably just shorten it to Fellow Monk.
There you
I
go.
got a few books I'm working on. So you guys want to check Amazon in the coming months or so, you're gonna see some books on Amazon KDP under Fellow Monk, FELOMONK, self-development books, things like that, man.
Awesome.
So one of these days, get that felony off of me and just be a fellow monk.
That's awesome. We're all looking forward to that day. All
Yeah,
right.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem at all. Well, thank you so much for your time. Any final shout outs or anybody you want to say? I think you shouted out a lot of people, but is there anybody you might have forgot or anybody you want to say hey to?
Man, the whole family, bro. Everybody who wants that smoke, everybody on Heatwave. I appreciate all of y'all, man. So long I wasn't able to create, you know, and the little healthy competitions and just being able to hear the creations with everybody. Man, God bless all of y'all, and I'm grateful. I'm just so grateful to be a part of this family, and thank you for having me, man.
All right, awesome. Well, this has been the Heat Wave Spotlight. The spotlight this week has been Felonious Monk. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you next Tuesday on By the Way of the Wave.